Ethan and I had been bitter rivals for years. A strange accident somehow linked my senses to his right hand. Whenever he worked out at night, my entire body burned. One evening, I couldn't take it anymore and barged into his room. "Can't you show some restraint?" Ethan jumped in surprise, causing the photograph clenched between his teeth to flutter down. My face stared back from the fallen picture. The familiar heat jolted me awake again. I lay still, frustration mounting as my body betrayed me with rising temperature and quickened breaths. Kicking off the sheets, I stumbled toward his room only to collapse as a scorching wave hit me. Knees hitting hardwood, tears sprang to my eyes. In that moment, I truly wanted to murder Ethan. This cursed connection started last month, some inexplicable one-way sensory link to my longtime nemesis' right hand. Now I felt his physical sensations and emotional fluctuations regardless of time or place. Daily irritations I could tolerate. But nights? The man turned into some insatiable beast. Who knew the prim and proper facade hid this nightly depravity? Dark circles now permanently shadowed my eyes after weeks of sleep deprivation. Dragging myself back to bed, I shuddered as sudden chill gave way to steamy warmth. Ethan's post-activity shower routine. My breath hitched as phantom fingers traced my collarbone, rough palms skimming imaginary curves. I curled into the mattress, crimson-eared, desperately praying he'd hurry. But Ethan being Ethan, his meticulous cleansing ritual dragged on, double scrubbing, exfoliating, moisturizing. By the time he finished, I lay sprawled like a stranded starfish, flushed and dazed. "Still awake?" His voice startled me upright. Our foreheads collided painfully as he leaned over my bed. "Violent much?" He rubbed his head, towel slipping dangerously low on his hips. My traitorous eyes tracked water droplets down his sculpted torso as my mouth blurted, "You're the violent one." "What?" His brow furrowed. I cleared my throat. "How'd you get in?" Ethan nodded toward the door. "You left it wide open." His gaze lingered on my face. "Why are you blushing so much?" He reached out, but I leaned back to avoid his touch. "And no reason." I averted my eyes from his intense stare. Ethan's puzzled expression remained fixed on me. Before he could speak, I blurted, "Why are you in my room this late? Last time you kicked off blankets and caught flu. I spent a whole week nursing you. Not eager for repeat performances. So you're just checking if I'm covered properly? What else would I want?" Ethan suddenly leaned closer until I could count his eyelashes. His lips curved as he rasped, "Think I'm here to take advantage?" Our eyes locked. Heat flooded my cheeks again. I pressed my palms against his firm chest and shoved hard. Never crossed my mind. Ethan straightened, glancing at where my hands had been. A low chuckle rumbled. "Relax. You're not my type. Like I'd want you anyway. Get out, I need sleep." I flopped onto the bed, yanking the quilt over my head. After an eternity of minutes, footsteps retreated. The door clicked shut. Under the covers, I debated confessing our weird empathy link. But Ethan would mock me mercilessly. Our already tense relationship couldn't survive that humiliation. I sighed into the pillow. At 10 a.m., my bestie's text reminded me of today's blind date. With under an hour left, I scrambled through a shower and did my makeup. The black dress clung perfectly, the back cutout highlighting my shoulder blades like hidden wings. I was buckling my stilettos when Ethan walked in from the gym. His eyes darkened appreciatively. "Date? Yep. Guy? Obviously. Poor bastard." He leaned against the wall, his smirk stretching. "Who's the victim?" I flipped him off while adjusting my spaghetti straps in the mirror. The dress hugged every curve, and my heart suddenly skipped a weird beat. I whirled toward Ethan, his right hand pressed over his chest. "Are you?" I chewed my lip, choosing my words carefully. How to warn him about all-nighters without revealing our connection? Sleep deprivation causing arrhythmia? Ethan froze. How'd you know? Isn't it because you're too loud at night? I've always been a light sleeper. Why, you should be more careful from now on. Oh. Really? Ethan chuckled, taking a step toward me. The distance between us vanished in an instant, his familiar scent pressing down. I instinctively retreated until my back hit the wall. Ethan bent slightly, his gaze locking onto my lips. Tell me, he murmured, his voice feathered soft against my ear. Exactly what did you hear? I shivered. His eyes were fathomless pools, his tone pure devilish temptation. I dared not speak, terrified of misspeaking and having my lips glued shut with super adhesive, ducking my head to escape his stare. I stammered. How would I know what you're up to? Shoving past him. I snapped. Move. I'm late for my date. I yanked the door open and bolted. His amused laughter chased me down the hallway. Slumping into the taxi, I finally registered how thoroughly he'd toyed with me. Furious, I punched the air twice. Ethan and I have been adversaries for over 2 decades. Our mothers became best friends after marrying into their respective families, the Walker family and the Taylor family. Born a year ahead of me, Ethan perfected the art of pushing my buttons since toddlerhood. Our rivalry raged unchecked until high school, when my parents' divorce forced Mom and me to relocate. We lost contact for nearly 2 years, only to collide again at the same university. After graduation, while I struggled as an overworked corporate drone hunting for affordable housing, Ethan breezed through life in his downtown condo bought by his parents. Then came his out-of-character text, "Mom says I should offer you the spare room at market minimum." Why the sudden charity? I demanded. Call it benevolence. He tossed the pre-signed lease on my cafe table, grinning like a sunlit menace. Swallowing pride, I accepted. For 2 years, we coexisted in prickly harmony until the incident. To retaliate against his midnight Bluetooth horror movie ambush, I lay in wait during elevator maintenance. Draped in white, I lunged from the shadowed stairwell and accidentally nearly shoved him down 3 flights. He twisted away, misstepped, and as he teetered backward, I grabbed his arm. Physics betrayed us. We tumbled downward, Ethan cushioning my fall with his body. Now his right arm hangs in plaster while I emerged unscathed. Yet when a sidewalk kid bumped his cast today, my scream pierced the sky. Ethan gritted through pain. My arm. Your lungs? I wish I knew. Ethan returned home in a foul mood, constantly aggravating his injured hand through careless movements. Each time he bumped into something, I'd involuntarily grimace from the phantom pain. After multiple occurrences, I realized there seemed to be some inexplicable connection between us. Careful observation revealed the truth. My right hand had developed a shared sensory link with Ethan's. You're saying you share physical sensations with someone? That's wild, chuckled the college boy across from me in the coffee shop. The 6-foot-tall sophomore with puppy dog eyes had insisted on hearing an interesting story, only to treat it as fiction when I complied. I forced a laugh. Playing along. Just messing with you, kiddo. His eyes crinkled attractively as he reached for my hand. Where should we go next, sis? As his fingertips brushed mine, I abruptly curled my hand into a fist. An embarrassing moan escaped my throat before I could stop it. The air froze, keeping my eyes firmly lowered. I shot up from the seat. Restroom break, I blurted, practically fleeing as my breathing quickened alarmingly. What fresh hell was Ethan experiencing now? Locked in a bathroom stall, I repeatedly called him to no avail, pressing my flushed face against cool palms. I endured 40 agonizing minutes of whatever he was doing. When I finally emerged, my seat sat empty. He paid the bill and left this, the barista said, handing me a note with a winking smiley face followed by digits. Got class. Hit me up next time, winky face. I pocketed the paper with a smirk. Cute kid. The moment I entered our apartment, Ethan stumbled out of his room drenched in sweat. Cheeks flushed crimson. Back already? Bad date? This is your fault. Mine? He pointed at himself. Damp hair clinging to his forehead. Words failed me. How could I explain this intimate physical synchronization to my childhood friend? After awkward stammering, I settled on, "Why didn't you answer?" He jerked his chin toward the muted phone on the coffee table. Was sparring. I remembered the punching bag hanging on his balcony, last year's birthday gift from me. My own damn fault. Whatever. I muttered, pushing past him. Was he that terrible? Ethan leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed over his sweat-slicked tank top. That infuriating smirk reappeared. Can't blame you. After seeing this face daily, ordinary guys must look like trolls. I shot Ethan a glance. Stop being so narcissistic. John's actually pretty great. His lips twitched downward at my words. Ethan was undeniably handsome with an athletic build, tall, long-legged, and perpetually swarmed by admirers since childhood. Yet I'd never seen him date anyone, not even casually flirtatious encounters. My phone buzzed in my bag as I walked, fumbling to retrieve it. Unnoticed, something fluttered to the ground. I didn't see Ethan pick up that slip of paper, nor witness his expression darken as he read it. With a derisive snort, he shredded the note and tossed it into the trash. After half-heartedly placating my mom's latest matchmaking rant, I realized I'd forgotten to get that cute guy's contact info. Frantically searching my bag confirmed the slip was gone, probably lost to my chronic carelessness. Whatever. Fate would decide. I collapsed onto bed for a nap, only to be smothered by 10 pounds of purring fur. Mr. Whiskers, recently neutered, had somehow been returned by Ethan while I wasn't looking. His rumbling contentment contrasted sharply with my growling stomach. While boiling noodles in the kitchen, the cat wound around my ankles. As I lifted the pot, his claws snagged my sweatpants. Mr. Whiskers! The fabric slid down my hips with cartoonish speed just as Ethan's bedroom door creaked open across the hallway. Ethan! Don't look! Turn around! He complied, after 3 glacial seconds. Got it. His voice emerged strangled, palm pressed over blazing red ears visible even under the fluorescent lights. Mortification threatened to vaporize me on the spot. I barely yanked my pants up when the cat launched at the stove, knocking the pot. Scalding broth rained down. Ethan materialized before the first drop hit tile, steering my hands under icy faucet spray. Within minutes he'd bundled my bandaged paws into his car, navigating to the ER with military efficiency. Slumped in the hospital chair, I glanced at his thunderous expression. The man who'd never shown interest in anyone now looked ready to murder a soup pot. His calm demeanor unexpectedly soothed my flustered heart. Ethan noticed my gaze, mistaking it for pain intolerance. He rolled up his sleeve and offered his forearm to my mouth. Bite me if it hurts. I silently glanced at his extended right hand. No need. It's manageable. After the doctor carefully dressed my burns, both my hands swelled like inflated pork trotters. For fingers on each palm were bandaged together, leaving only solitary thumbs protruding. I wiggled my isolated thumb playfully before Ethan. Thanks for this. The tension lining his face all evening finally dissolved into a faint smile. A nurse handed Ethan paperwork. Get these prescriptions filled on the 3rd floor after payment. Keep her hands dry and change dressings every 3 days. He's not my boyfriend. I promptly corrected. Am I that embarrassing to claim? Ethan's tone carried unexpected irritation. I shook my head vigorously, sensing the need for diplomacy. Then why the urgent denial? Just stating facts. His chest heaved slightly before he snatched the documents and strode away. Watching his retreating figure, I scratched my head with conjoined palms, bewildered by his sudden mood shift. Back home, Ethan sternly disciplined the cat while revoking its treats for a month. With medical leave from work, I lounged at home completely dependent on Ethan's unexpectedly thorough care. During dressing changes, his calloused fingers moved with surgical precision as he unwrapped gauze to reveal healing pink flesh. The antiseptic sting made me jerk away instinctively. "Stay still," he commanded, firmly grasping my wrist. His warm breath ghosted across my palm as he leaned closer, concentration etching his features. From this vantage point, his bone structure resembled some divine sculptor's masterpiece, sharp jawline offset by surprisingly lush lips that glowed with natural color. "See something interesting?" His murmur startled me. "Your mouth looks kissable." The words escaped before my brain engaged. Heat flooded my ears as I braced for mockery. After waited silence, his mouth quirked. "That desperate for a taste?" "No. Absolutely not. Could make an exception if you're truly eager." "Stop putting words in my mouth." My traitorous eyes darted back to his lips regardless. Ethan didn't say anything more, a smile lingering at the corners of his mouth. As the bandaging on my hand neared completion, my mom called again. She said her friend had introduced me to a guy and wanted me to meet him when free. After hanging up, she immediately sent his photo. I clicked open to take a peek. Decent-looking face. Decently toned physique. My mom sent a voice message asking what I thought. "Pretty handsome, ouch." Before I could send the voice note, my phone slipped from my trembling hand onto the couch. I glared at Ethan. "Why'd you wrap it so tight?" "Oh, sorry." He shrugged, the apology dripping with insincerity. Ethan picked up my phone, his gaze casually sweeping across the photo on the screen. "Meh. Not that great. His physique isn't even as good as mine," he muttered, just loud enough for me to hear. I looked him up and down, teasing. "Prove it." To my surprise, he yanked off his shirt in one motion, revealing the results of his recent gym sessions. Okay. He wasn't lying. "Like what you see. Wipe that drool." His voice brimmed with amusement. I instinctively wiped my mouth, nothing there. Realizing he'd tricked me, I kicked at him in mock outrage. Instead of dodging, Ethan took the hit square in the stomach, grunting as he clutched his abdomen. My ankle remained trapped in his other hand. His gaze burned into me, expression taut with restraint. I tugged my leg. "No luck." "Let go." His thumb brushed my foot, rough calluses grazing skin. Sparking tingles. Our eyes locked. His gaze suddenly predatory. My heartbeat thundered, rapid and insistent. Just as the atmosphere thickened unbearably, Ethan looked away and released me. Maybe because of what happened earlier. I dreamed of Ethan that night. And we did that. I sat up clutching my blanket, touching my flaming cheeks. Unbelievable. How could I fantasize about my arch-nemesis like this? Shaking my head to dislodge the mortifying images only made them clearer. Barefoot, I padded to the kitchen for water to cool down. On my way back, strange noises from Ethan's room froze me mid-step. Before I could wonder why he was awake at this hour, familiar heat surged through my body. I clapped a hand over my mouth, legs locking in place. Waves of overwhelming sensation crashed over me until I collapsed against the wall. MMPH. A whimper escaped despite my efforts. The noises from his room stopped abruptly. The door opened quickly, a sliver of light spilling through the crack. Footsteps approached slowly, ignoring my ragged breathing and tear-streaked face. I scrambled forward on hands and knees, desperate to escape the vicinity of his room. My frantic crawling halted when I collided with a pair of golden eyes at the corner. Seeing Liba the cat, I nearly wept with relief. My savior. Ethan found me moments later, tear-stained and disheveled, passionately cuddling the cat while murmuring, "Good girl. I love you. I love you so much. When did your tastes become so unconventional, Emily?" His shocked voice came from behind, I looked up to see Ethan's expression shatter. He pointed between me and the cat as if witnessing something obscene, his gaze turning conflicted and speechless. No amount of explanation could erase the lingering awkwardness in his eyes afterward. I gave up trying. By Saturday, my injured hand had healed. Relenting to my mother's constant nagging, I attended the arranged blind date. The guy seemed nice enough until he started obsessing over having 2 children within 3 years of marriage. I nearly choked on my rice before hastily ending the disastrous meal. As I left the restaurant, Ethan's message popped up. Did you actually finish the meal this time? If he's that unbearable, just come home. I'll make you something edible. Ethan had inherited his mother's culinary genius. His cooking was absolutely delicious. His message reminded me of previous dates whose bizarre antics had made me flee restaurants within minutes. But returning now would only give him more ammunition to tease me. The food was great. I lied. We're busy with other plans. Enjoy having the place to yourself tonight. His response came instantly, the classic passive-aggressive smiley emoji. Too proud to go home early. I killed time wandering malls and watching a movie. Midway through the film, an odd itch crept up my neck. Checking my phone's front camera revealed nothing unusual. Yet the persistent tingling made me scratch constantly. What are you doing right now? I texted Ethan one-handed while clutching my neck. He replied with 2 photos, Liba swaddled in a blanket like a furry burrito, and another of him scratching his own reddened neck. Your furball tried to suck my neck again. Nearly drew blood this time. Relieved he wasn't doing anything strange. I started typing when the couple next to me jostled my arm. My phone nearly fell as I fumbled to catch it, accidentally sending a 1-second voice message instead. My phone died just as I was about to retract the message. I paused, then gave up. After the movie ended, I checked myself in the bathroom mirror. Pale neck now streaked with uneven red marks. It was almost midnight when the taxi dropped me off. The apartment stood dark when I opened the door, fumbling for the light switch. I froze. A tall figure loomed in the living room. Ethan stood motionless, obsidian eyes locking onto me. My hand flew to my chest, heart pounding. Why are you standing there in the dark? His gaze dropped to my neck, jaw tightening. Emily. His voice turned dangerous. Exactly how far did things go tonight? What? Following his stare, I flushed. Why do you care? He pulled out his phone, tapping our chat history. My accidental voice message played, a man's moan echoing through the speakers. The Dolby Atmos really did justice to that actor's reaction during the acupressure mat scene. Movie sound effects. Don't be dramatic. And these? He gestured at the marks. Bug bites from dirty theater seats. Ethan fell silent. Then asked tightly, You actually like this blind date? He's adequate. Yet you spent the whole day with him? His tone soured. Who else should I choose? You should. He bit back the words. Never mind. Your taste was always questionable, says the perpetual bachelor. He stormed off to his room. For several nights afterward, he left me undisturbed. Pure bliss. 2 days later, I returned from work to find Ethan and my mom cooking together. Her voice carried from the kitchen. What kind of man could ever meet M's standards anyway? None of the introductions worked out. It's driving me crazy. Ethan frowned. Didn't that last one go well a few days ago? Oh, please. M texted me right after dinner saying it wasn't a match. Mom. I hurriedly interrupted. My barely started fib had been casually exposed by my mother in front of Ethan. So that's how it was. Ethan looked mildly surprised, turning to gaze at me with amused eyes. From an angle my mom couldn't see, he silently mouthed, Little liar. During dinner, Ethan transformed again, serving me dishes. Peeling shrimp, cracking crab claws, thoughtfully refilling my drink. My mom watched him, approval practically dripping from her eyes. Ethan, How come you're still single? His shrimp-peeling hands paused. His gaze swept past me to the empty space at my side. Auntie, there's actually someone I like. What a shame. My mom gave me a frustrated glance as I kept shoveling rice into my mouth, then shook her head and went to clean the kitchen. I looked up from my bowl, astonished. Since when have you been secretly dating someone? I whispered. No wonder he'd been so energetic those nights. She doesn't know I like her. Wow. A secret crush. Never took you for the sentimental type. I leaned in eagerly. Who is she? Do I know her? What's she like? Ethan glanced at me. She's appearance obsessed. Eats constantly. And a bit slow upstairs. Hey. Her hobbies sound just like mine. More than just similar. When I tried asking more, he shoved a peeled shrimp into my mouth to stop the interrogation. After dinner, I walked my mom to her ride. She nagged about me attending more blind dates. Then inexplicably praised Ethan. Why can't you see what's right in front of you? Mom, we've never gotten along since childhood. How could we possibly, but Ethan's so attentive to you. He's probably just being polite in front of you. Why not test the waters? Ask how he feels. Stop imagining things. He definitely doesn't see me that way. What if, impossible? The arriving car horn cut off her words. Back upstairs. I found Ethan baking puff pastry in the kitchen. Midnight cravings? We'd just finished dinner. He adjusted the oven. Your mom said you wanted Napoleon pastries. Told me to teach you. I suddenly remembered her visit was supposed to deliver dessert supplies. Apparently we had to make them ourselves. Ethan proved as skilled with desserts as with main courses. When the pastry turned golden, he began demonstrating the layering technique, his fingers deftly spreading cream between flaky sheets. The kitchen filled with the warm scent of butter and something else I couldn't quite name. Watching Ethan skillfully pipe perfectly shaped cream rosettes while my own attempts resembled amorphous blobs, I couldn't help but laugh bitterly at my clumsiness after multiple failed attempts. The demolished pile of puff pastry bore witness to my pastry bag warfare. Let me show you. Ethan finally intervened, positioning himself behind me. His palm settled over my hand, fingers interlacing with mine as he guided the piping bag. Our joined hands moved with deliberate pressure, coaxing forth a flawless swirl under his expert tutelage. See? That's how it's done. His warm breath grazed my neck, raising goosebumps across my skin. Pressed against his firm chest, the heat radiating through our thin clothing felt suffocating. I squirmed slightly, hyper-aware of our proximity. Emily, focus. What are you avoiding? His murmur by my ear sent tingling waves down my spine. My reply emerged embarrassingly breathy. Why, you're too close. Ethan froze. Releasing my hand abruptly, he retreated 2 paces. Practice more. I'm tired. His roughened voice betrayed strained composure as he disappeared toward his room. Clutching the pastry bag, I pretended absorption in my task. Cheeks burning. There'd been no mistaking his physical reaction earlier. Night found me tossing restlessly. Mother's parting words replaying. Chewing my thumbnail. I debated, was that momentary hardness accidental? Could it happen without attraction? Or was Ethan truly that depraved? Familiar heat blossomed in my core, accompanied by tremors more intense than before. Slapping the mattress, I sat bolt upright. Enough. This ends tonight. Bursting into his room without knocking, my shout died mid-sentence. Ethan. Control the photograph tumbling from his lips froze us both. My own face stared back from the fallen image. Time suspended. I squeezed my eyes shut, willing the vision away. Ethan's flushed face, parted lips. The telltale tinting of his sweatpants burned into my retinas. Trembling fingers reached for the doorknob. The door halted mid-swing. Let me explain. Ethan's grip trapped my wrist, drawing shaky courage. I met his gaze. Actually, we need to talk. Actually, I share sensory perception with your right hand. I know every time you do that. Emily, I like you. Two voices overlapped like thunderclaps between us. My mouth hung open for a long beat. Huh? Under the bright living room lights. I confessed the sensory link to Ethan. His gaze locked onto me. Pupils darkening. You're saying whatever I feel, you'll experience identically? Correct. Even when yep. Exactly that. Ethan's face burned crimson. He blinked rapidly, struggling to process this supernatural reality. You can test it right now if you don't believe me. How? Pinch your right hand. I'll feel the pain too. Ethan's eyes glinted. I prefer this method. He pressed his right palm against his lips, slowly dragging languid kisses across the skin. The warm, velvety sensation materialized simultaneously on my body. My breathing hitched as his movements grew more deliberate. Soft whimpers escaped my throat, cheeks flushing while my vision blurred. Ethan maintained eye contact, watching my reactions with predatory focus as his mouth worked. I grabbed his wrist with trembling fingers. Stop, please. He paused, lips hovering millimeters from skin. Convinced now? Yeah. I glared accusingly. Because of you. I can't sleep properly and my date got ruined. Ethan rubbed his neck awkwardly after absorbing this information. About that date. Let me make it up to you? His voice softened. Emily. I meant what I said earlier. I really do like you. My throat tightened. Then why wait until now? Why secretly use my photos for that? I thought you'd cut me off forever. Why would I? His bitter smile chilled me. You said it yourself freshman year if I ever developed feelings, we'd sever all contact permanently. Memory flooded back to my disastrous first college relationship. The upperclassman who'd pursued me out of novelty, then dumped me after 3 weeks when boredom struck. I'd sobbed for days in my dorm, unaware Ethan had tracked down that jerk and broken his nose before I could intervene. He misunderstood that I still had lingering feelings for my senior. Seeing my tear-swollen eyes, he angrily berated me for having terrible taste. I'm already heartbroken. Could you stop? He snapped, crying over that jerk. Emily, can't you have some self-respect? Ethan spent over half an hour lecturing me with frustration. Already devastated by the breakup, I finally snapped under his nagging. What does it matter if my taste is bad? It's not like I'd ever be interested in you anyway. Ethan froze momentarily before retorting. The feeling's mutual. Perfect. If you ever dare develop feelings for me, we're cutting all ties permanently. I shoved past him and stormed off. Ethan punched the air furiously, regretting how his sharp tongue had ruined the conversation. He'd meant to comfort me, not escalate the tension. Looking back now, I never imagined that careless argument would become his decade-long creed. After being betrayed once, I avoided relationships entirely. Only when my mother started pressuring me after graduation did I reluctantly consider dating again. Ethan studied my expression with uncharacteristic vulnerability. Whatever you decide next, I'll respect it. I'm staying. His eyes lit up instantly. Really? We still need to resolve this shared sensation between us. I clarified. Is that the only reason? He frowned, stepping closer. What about me? How do you feel? This is overwhelming. I need time to process. For 20 years we'd been rivals, constantly bickering. The revelation of his secret affection left me mentally scrambling to adjust. After heavy silence, Ethan agreed to wait for my answer. I'll research solutions for our connection, he said, ears turning pink as he added, and be more mindful of my physical reactions around you. Our dynamic shifted subtly yet profoundly. Gone were our habitual squabbles. Ethan now indulged my every whim. occasionally flexing his sculpted physique or flashing that dimpled smile to test my resolve. This morning he emerged from an unusually long shower, water droplets clinging to his toned abdomen as he leaned against my doorframe. My traitorous body reacted instantly, cheeks flushing as I struggled to steady my breathing. Apologies. Got carried away. You okay? His innocent tone contradicted the mischief in his eyes. Fed up with being teased, I grabbed his bathrobe collar and pushed him onto my bed, straddling his waist before crashing our lips together. The moment our mouths met, reality snapped back. Ethan lay frozen beneath me, blue eyes wide with shock. The man who'd tormented me for decades now looked utterly disarmed, his rapid heartbeat thundering against my palms. But his body's reaction was quite honest. After sensing his abnormality, I instinctively got up and tried to flee. Ethan was quick-witted and reached out his hand, hooking my neck and pulling me towards him. He took back the initiative and gradually deepened the kiss. And driven by him, I unconsciously sank into it, until there came the sound of entering the password at the door. I came to my senses all of a sudden and struggled to get up. Ethan domineeringly hugged my waist and showered delicate kisses on my raised neck. Ethan, stop quickly. Someone's coming. You're hearing things. He remained unmoved and continued what he was doing. The next second, the door opened and someone came in. It's already 10 o'clock. Are those two kids still not up? It's the weekend. They must be staying in bed. A man's and a woman's voices sounded one after another. Then the woman's voice said again, "The breakfast I bought is going to get cold. I'll go wake them up." The sound of footsteps gradually approached my room, and my door was wide open at this moment. So, the scene of me and Ethan springing up from the bed in a disheveled state was completely seen by his mother. Mr. Walker looked serious, staring intently at me and Ethan. Thinking of the embarrassing scene just now, I lowered my head guiltily. Dad, don't scare Emily. Oh, you've grown up and learned to side with others. Mr. Walker said sourly, but his expression softened a bit. Emily is not someone else. Then tell me, what is she to you? Ethan opened his mouth, thinking of the unsuccessful confession last time. The words he wanted to say got stuck in his throat. No way. Son. You haven't even asked the girl and you're already making a move? You're such a jerk. Ethan's mother stared at him in surprise with her beautiful eyes wide open. She was always an impatient and hot-tempered person and thought her son had done something wrong. Emily, tell me, did this guy force you and act inappropriately? If so, I'll teach him a good lesson today. Seeing that she had rolled up her sleeves, I quickly said, "No, Uncle and Aunt. He didn't force me. It was me who kissed him first." I said the last sentence in a voice so low that it could hardly be heard. The living room fell silent for a moment. Mr. Walker spoke first. Emily, do you like my naughty son? I turned to look at Ethan. Coincidentally, I met his gaze. There was anticipation and nervousness in his eyes. At this moment, I imagined what it would be like if Ethan became my boyfriend. It seemed that I could accept it. Moreover, I liked his looks, and we got along well in terms of values. He could cook delicious food and take good care of people. It seemed quite good. 3 pairs of eyes were fixed on me. I met Ethan's gaze and nodded affirmatively. Yes, I do. After I said that, Ethan almost thought he had misheard. When he came to his senses, a bright smile bloomed on his face. For a moment, his heart was pounding and he was overjoyed. Was it really that joyful? Sensing Ethan's emotions, I unconsciously widened my smile. Uncle Walker suddenly exhaled in relief, his expression transforming into cheerful delight. See? I told you these two were meant to be together. Honey, wasn't my matchmaking brilliant? Not bad, Aunt Walker replied. watching the satisfied grins on their faces. Ethan and I exchanged glances before realizing they'd simply been putting on an act to mess with us, or more accurately, to mess with me alone. They immediately called my mom to share the good news. Through their conversation, I learned both families had long hoped Ethan and I would become a couple. All parents involved adored each other's children. Now everyone got their wish. Ethan moved closer, intertwining our fingers. His lips curved tenderly. "Thank you for choosing me as your boyfriend." I mirrored his smile. "You're welcome. Keep up the good work." Double happiness surged through me. This shared connection didn't seem like a curse anymore. Whether we ever found a way to undo it mattered little now. Thank you all for the company. Your support fuels my passion for sharing these sweet romance stories. See you next time.